Today's story is about a cringe lord who receives instant karma in a lesson that actions certainly do have consequences. Hello and welcome. Join me as we scour the internet in search for the best, the worst, the interesting, and yes, even the cringiest tales that this amazing world of TTRPGs has to offer. So I am new to this and I'm not exactly sure what I can and can't say on this platform. So that being said, I do have content warning for this story and that there is sexual assault involved. I'm Big Jesse. Now sit back, relax, and let me tell you a story. Game night at the friendly local game store. Now, we try not to judge, but you could tell right from the get-go that Newbie, as we will refer to him in this, was going to be a problem. Dude saunters in wearing all black and a stainless steel ring. Slouches in his chair like he's hot shit. Makes small talk with the rest of the players, taking effort to point out that his favorite media properties are cooler than everybody else's. He came prepared with a ready-built character, a stock, standard, mysterious rogue with a mysterious background. You know the type. He bends the DM's ear before the game, wanting a realistic campaign. The veteran players sigh internally. The adventure starts off where so many have before, in an average town, in an average tavern. Cliche, because it works. The DM describes a packed tavern on a cold winter night with the snow gently falling outside. Inside, a jovial scene that includes a roaring fire crackling in the background, a cheerful half-orc bartender, and a human barmaid. For once, the newbie with the edgy rogue is not sitting in a dimly lit corner. He instead is talking with the barmaid. "You're cute," he says. Yes, break. This is the voice that I decided to give him, and this is the voice that he deserves. She blushes and thanks him. "How much?" he asks. She responds by quoting him prices for a drink and a meal. You know, the typical interactions that you would have in a tavern. "No, I mean, how much to get you to come to my bedroom tonight?" Hold on. Unscrunch that cringe face that you just made and save it for later, because this gets so much worse. DM sighs. She scoffs at you and walks away toward another table. Newbie sneers at the DM. "I catch her by the arm and tell her that it's no use playing, and I know how to make it good for you, if that's what you're worried about." I immediately soured my face reading this at the choice of the RP made by this cringe lord. Let me remind you that he didn't know anybody going into this game. It was a pickup game at a local gaming store. He grabbed her arm and chose to tell her that he can lay pipe like a pro with a table full of strangers trying to play a tabletop game that he says he wants realism in. Wow. Who does this and would think it's a good impression? Yeah, this is a great character choice. Let me just go down this path. Like, who does this? Ugh. The DM says the barmaid shakes out of the newbie's grip and continues to walk away, trying to get beyond this storyline or this RP faux pas that just happened and try to move the story along. The newbie gets pissed in this moment and starts to yell at the DM and says that he should at least be able to get to roll persuasion, and the DM is playing this barmaid all wrong. DM tells him that the barmaid is not a prostitute, to which Newbie replies that, "Of course she is. That's what wenches do." At this point, another player at the table cuts in to the effect that, actually, most taverns in the Middle Ages were family-owned businesses, meaning that the wait staff was usually the owner's relatives. Taking that cue, DM says the bartender taps Newbie Rogue on the shoulder and asks, "Why are you getting all handsy with my daughter?" Cue screaming Newbie arguing with the rest of the table that the DM is pulling stuff out of his ass. Because how could a half-orc father ever have a human child? The argument goes on for 10 minutes, at which point a player jumps in and says, "Well, in real life, there are mixed-race people that have lighter skin, and shockingly, there are also mixed-race people with darker skin," which is hilarious, I think. But maybe you just had to be there. This is funny, not in the way that somebody says a joke and you laugh aloud at the seriously funny thing that someone said. This is funny in the way that you would breathe heavily out of your nose and scoff at something so ridiculous that should never have to be said. But in this case, with this individual in this RP at this table, it honestly seemed like he needed this explained to him. Finally, Newbie has had enough and says, "You know what? Fuck this. I'm going to stab the bartender dead, then take the wench and drag her off behind the bar to get some." Oh my God. He's at a table with people he has never met. He asked for realism and then starts to play a character that wants to sexually assault an NPC. Self-snitching. This is self-snitching. We should look out for him. Like, where did this happen? We should look out for him, because this is maybe it's me. I don't know. I read this and it's bad. That stops the argument and the table is stunned. DM starts to ask if he's sure, but is interrupted by the newbie rolling a hit die, then 4 damage already. Okay. DM leans back tiredly. After a moment, he calmly begins to ask players to his left to borrow D20s. The player hands DM a D20, and the DM asks if he can borrow another to the remaining players. DM goes around the table borrowing every player's D20s. Some have extra for spares or luck or to speed up with advantage. Then, when he has all of those, he stands up and calmly walks to the store counter and buys more D20s, winding up with about 24 20-sided die in all. Nobody knows what he's up to. Finally, he comes back over, sits back down behind his screen, and speaks. Okay, your attack hits, and your dagger sinks into the bartender's belly. He stumbles backward, clutching his side, and the barmaid screams, which gets the attention of the other patrons as a wave of silence and shock billows out throughout the crowd. Then voices. Holy shit! He just stabbed old daughter! He's gonna kill him! But if the bartender dies, what that means? No beer! No beer! No beer! All eyes turn to you as the cry goes up. Get him! As the DM rolls initiative, it's like a tidal wave of D20s of all different sizes and materials clattering across the table like aggressive stumbleweeds ricocheting off each other, knocking over minis and making an ungodly racket. DM asks his players what they do. They, of course, opt to chill out at their tables. They opt to sit at their tables, sipping their drinks, as newbie rogue is dogpiled by over 20 half-drunk commoners. Karma is fun. He tries to fight back, but is quickly grappled to the ground, beaten unconscious by nearly 50 fists, doing 1d4 damage each, plus one old man with a walking stick that dealt 1d6 damage. The mob steals the rogue's gear, including his clothes, drags his unconscious body outside, and ties him to a tree by his ankles, upside down and unclothed. On, I should remind you, a cold winter night with snow gently falling. They finished the job by using hot pitch to write, "Look at this ass" on his rear end. The newbie is seething, and the rest of the players are just laughing their asses off. Meanwhile, the party gives the bartender medical attention, getting some free drinks for their trouble. Later on, after picking up the quest hook, they did take pity on the sulking newbie and cut his rogue down on the logic that he might be useful if there are traps. I personally, Big Jesse talking here, I would have left him in the tree and been like, bruh, do better. Make a new character, do better. Anyway, the newbie does go with them on the adventure, but he's clearly deflated after all of this, and he ends up leaving the game halfway through, making some excuse about other things to do. Luckily, the friendly local gaming store has never seen him again. Now, whenever I DM, I like to, before the game even starts, explain certain rules that I have at my games. I actually don't allow any kind of essay in my games at my table. I also have certain rules surrounding PvP, cheating, metagaming, those kind of things. And this helps to set expectations during the game. And really the way I look at it is we're all here to have fun, right? Like that's why we play this amazing game, and any TTRPG with friends is we set time aside so that we can all have fun. And anything that I believe could take away from that fun, I will just not allow in my games. And this could help you moving forward, just so that you don't end up having to cross this bridge. You can take a different route that never approaches this. Let me know down in the comments what you would have done if you would have left him in the tree and told him to do better and make another character, if you would have booted him from the table or done anything else. Also, my fellow DMs out there, let me know what you would have done, or if you have anything in place to prevent these kind of situations. If you enjoyed this story, make like that old man with the cane and beat that like button. I want to give a big thanks to the Reddit user Asterion Del Toro, who posted this on Reddit in RPG Horror Stories. If you would like to see it, I'm going to leave a link to it in the description down below. I'm new to all of this, and I really enjoyed making this, so I'm going to be making a lot more. The next one is about a DM who has some fun with his players, showing that intelligence isn't always the dump stat for bandits. If that sounds interesting to you, or you want to see more of my videos, then go ahead and subscribe and join the Big Jesse community. That way you can make sure you don't miss the next one. Thank you so much for listening. Nope, that's podcasting. That's what I'm used to doing. This is YouTube. So thank you for watching. Oh, man. Subscribe. Get in the comments.